Hello guys, welcome to episode 3, which I know has taken quite a while, but here we are, and today the conversation is around artificial intelligence. My guest today is Alex Tsado, one of the biggest proponents for AI being done the African way. This episode was shot back in September 2023, right after Mozilla Festival in Kenya. When we met, we had a nice discussion with Alex about AI in Africa, why we are lagging behind, why the narrative is being driven by the West, and what we can do to take control of our own story and our own approach to artificial intelligence. I found that initial discussion really good and really powerful and important, so I asked Alex to have a sit down that's recorded, so that we can have more people listening to the conversation and changing their own perspectives and bringing in their own thoughts. That's the discussion you're about to listen or watch. I highly recommend that you watch this because I've added a lot of screenshots and a lot of screen captures that add more context to the story and to the different people and companies Alex mentions. The biggest takeaway from the discussion is this: Africans need to do more to prevent Western biases and Western control from being part of our future with the way big tech is building the next frontier of mankind. Listen in, share your thoughts, and share this in your circles. So hi guys, welcome to another episode. Today I'm talking to Alex Tsado, and let him introduce himself.
Well, thank you very much. It's a real pleasure and honor to be talking with you. So I am Alexander Tsado. I'm originally from Nigeria, but I'm as Pan-African as they come, as I travel throughout over 10 African countries, being an evangelist for artificial intelligence over the last 7 years. But my home base is in San Francisco, California, where I live.
How are you finding Kenya? Because I met Alex at Mozilla Fest, and we had a conversation which I'm trying to replicate here. We hope it goes the same way it went, because we weren't recording at that time. So
Yeah.
how are you finding Kenya and all that? Yeah.
I absolutely love it. I
Uh-huh.
have always loved Kenya,
Uh-huh,
and I am loving it more and more.
Uh-huh.
In fact, my first trip here was in
Uh-huh.
2016.
Uh-huh.
I had come to intern with Ken Njoroge, who was the founder of Cellulant at 14 Riverside.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
At that point,
Uh-huh.
I decided that Nairobi was one of my top 3 cities in the world. The others being Barcelona and one of the cities in Colombia, right? But now, after my 4th visit to Kenya, I'm afraid I have to say Nairobi has become number 1. It's my top city in the entire world, and yes, it's worrying. I might move here.
There's been a report just, I think yesterday, that ranked Nairobi as one of the cheapest cities to live if you're an expert or if you're from the US or all that. Do you find it that way?
I don't love Nairobi because it's cheap. I don't think it's cheap. I have actually spent 3 months in Georgia, the Republic of Georgia. It's a country right next to Russia, and that was very cheap, very beautiful. I spent time there in the summer of 2021 during COVID. That I would say is cheap. Nairobi is not because it's cheap. Nairobi is because it's a cosmopolitan city, but driven by Africans. It's incredible. I feel the same way like when I lived in New York. I lived in New York for 8 years. I feel the same way about Nairobi like I felt about New York in terms of opportunity, fun. It's just beyond incredible.
So what is your current role, and what are some of your previous roles here?
Yes. So right now I wear 2 hats. One is as co-founder of Ahra AI, which is a global startup with headquarters in the US, where we are trying to reimagine what it means to be educated. Yes. There aren't the percentage of people who are educated on the planet is less than 10%. So our mission is to use technology like artificial intelligence to multiply the number by 5 times. We believe if we do that, we as human beings can solve most of the problems we have on Earth. So that's what we're working on, and we work with pretty large companies in America, including some that try to take people to space. I will not mention names. But back in Africa, with a non-profit, I'm also co-founder of Alliance for AI. It's Alliance for Africa's Intelligence, where
Not artificial intelligence.
Not artificial intelligence, it's Africa's intelligence. Because our mission is to ensure Africa is not left behind again. In terms of technology, there's going to be so many technologies for the next 20 to 50 years. And we want to ensure that from artificial intelligence to the next phase, which will be cybersecurity, blockchain, and more, Africa is always keeping up. We're ensuring that the people are not left behind like they are today. And we've made so many important strides since 2019.
Okay. some previous roles? Because I
Yes.
know your previous roles, but you can tell my audience. Yeah.
Previous roles, the most important and critical one to artificial intelligence is at Nvidia.
What
Yes,
are you
those
doing?
from the who are listening who might know Nvidia know it because it's a gaming company, right? And the others who know it know because they've made so much money by buying Nvidia stock. Nvidia is going to be the most important company on the planet. All of artificial intelligence is built on top of Nvidia's GPUs.
Yeah.
GPUs, you can think of it as the thing that makes your computer very fast. Is a graphic processing unit, a GPU. So Nvidia invented the GPU, and now every big company, every big country is built on top of Nvidia. So I was the only African on the leadership team at Nvidia, and I was responsible for cloud computing, meaning that I worked with the largest cloud companies in the world, like AWS, Microsoft, Google Cloud, in China, Alibaba Cloud, to teach them how to install NVIDIA GPUs so that the rest of the world can run on top of those GPUs. And so today it supports, I would say, over around 80% of the world's AI is built on the platform that myself and my team worked on.
Nice. Before we jump onto Alliance for AI, a little diversion. Did you have a problem when GPUs were not, when people couldn't buy GPUs? Are you a gamer? There was a time just after COVID where GPU prices were soaring.
Yes.
Did you have a problem now that you had
Oh, did I personally have a problem buying the GPUs versus not? Okay, I didn't, because there are certain programs that certain preferred providers are part of where they get first dibs on GPUs. For example, there's an accelerator called Inception. Inception Accelerator it's started off with 3,000 startups. The last I heard, it was more than 11,000 startups around the world who are part of it. And as members of that, we get access to GPUs first before others. So yes, we were able to buy some.
Okay, so now we can talk a little about Alliance for AI, because when I met you, you were wearing an Alliance for AI t-shirt, and you had some students in Kenya who were part of it. So tell us a little more about Alliance for AI, how it started, what are the motivations behind Alliance for AI, and why is it Alliance for African Intelligence, not artificial intelligence? Yes.
Definitely. Alliance for AI, the push to start it happened after I realized that Africa was literally not on the map for artificial intelligence across the world. We were completely removed from the map. Many maps were produced by Stanford, by European Union. All of it had Africa dark. There's nothing happening there.
Yeah, if you read any papers about AI, you get to hear about developments in AI and literally nothing on Africa.
Yes, nothing is written about Africa. So that got me really angry, because as an African, I'm aware of Africans who were doing a lot of work in AI, but none of it was getting reported. So our very first mission was to literally put Africa on the map in terms of global artificial intelligence. That was the first thing that we set ourselves up to do. But then talking about the grander vision, all of us who are fighters, who are fighters, are fighting for the place of the black man to not get harmed and to also reap the benefits of artificial intelligence and other disruptive technologies. We're playing different roles. You might be familiar with people like Timnit Gebru. She is playing the role of helping empower researchers to build foundational models, mostly in America. Black in AI Network. She founded that around the same time as Alliance for AI in 2018, 2017. She, along with 2 or 3 other people. And that is so they can be researchers building models. And they now run the largest AI research conference in Africa called Deep Learning in Daba. It's incredible. Someone else like Joy B. She, as people also know, she's fighting the policy fight, where she's fighting the regulators in America, telling them about how much harm AI can bring to Africans, to Black people around the world, and other people who are also not part of AI, including women, other marginalized groups. So she's fighting that policy fight, demanding that they change. So that's her role. I decided to take a different role. Her role, I imagine, is going to take 10 to 20 years. She should continue doing it, and all the others should continue doing that. But we need all of ourselves. We need all of us together doing different things. From my side, I decided to take a different approach and co-founded Alliance for AI along with 3 other people. It is that we are not going to take excuses. We're not going to wait. They've asked us to wait. The US government asked us to wait for 10 to 20 years. The CEOs of all our companies, we've spoken to them, the largest companies in the world. Africans work for those companies. We talked to our CEOs. They all said that we should wait for 10 to 20 years. What I know is that in that time, hundreds of thousands of people will be harmed, some killed. So I can't wait. I have to start acting now. An Alliance for AI and myself, we're about acting now. And so from 2019, we have taken some incredible strides to move the Black man forward, the global African, no matter where you are. We have created resources and opportunities that you can leverage to first reduce harm that can come from AI. And secondly, we start building our own AI that is different from the way the other people have built AI so that we can actually benefit from it.
When you talk about harm,
yes.
What are some of the
harm? So the harm from AI is why everybody is worried and scared about AI. I want to be here to share with you that you are not scared of AI. You are scared of the AI that America has chosen to build. The Western world has chosen to build AI that you are worried about. We can build African AI that is different, that is not going to do the same things. AI that is not going to take your jobs. AI that is not going to be Robocop and destroy the world. We can build AI that will help farmers provide more food on the table for people, that will help villagers get answers to their medical questions so they don't have to travel to the city for 5 hours. It's very possible to build AI around African values. It's very possible. And that is what we have been pushing this whole time. In terms of harm, like you mentioned, the AI built in America, my goodness. AI is really, you take the history of the past in the form of data, then you teach a computer. The computer is a baby. Think of the AI like a baby. You give it all these stories of the past, so and then this AI,
biases,
yes, every bad thing that happened, every good thing that happened, you teach the computer about that. Then the computer now starts to do the same thing. That is what AI is. So some of us since 2018 have been telling the big companies, please stop doing that. Can you not give it the stories of bad things that have been done to women, to Black people around the world? But they have refused. They decide that they must use the whole history and put it on the model. And because of that, so many bad things have been happening. One example is some companies deploy AI to be the hiring agent in their company. Now this AI will never hire a woman for engineering role because the history tells it that women are not good engineers. Right. Other groups have deployed AI in police so that police can catch criminals. You can imagine in America, that AI tool now calls almost every Black person it sees a criminal, including the children of Barack Obama. They will be called criminals too and be put in jail. That's the world we're going to, where we're going to automate all the bad things from the past. This is American AI. We have to stop building AI like this. So the likes of Joy and Timnit are demanding and begging Americans to stop building that AI. From where I come from, I've been inside these companies. I don't think they're going to listen. They're going to keep building it. The only thing we can do is build our own AI that we will use. So we are not going to use their AI and we're not going to get harmed by their AI. We will build our own AI that is not going to call us criminals or deny us jobs and things that we deserve. We will build our own ChatGPT and we'll build our own solutions. That's what we're doing from Alliance for AI.
Okay. Still on the negative part, is there a way, you will say there's a way for using what is being built, because these are global corporations, they're very big. You can't say that maybe from our discussion we'll find a way to build something the way your dream is, but is there a way to look at what's there right now and make it unbiased, make it friendly for what we want it to be? Like, Can we
Yes.
use what's already existing to make it better so that it works best for us rather than what
Yes.
it currently is? Yeah.
The fact is, we have been begging these companies for
Mhm.
many years, and
Mhm.
they have completely refused to listen.
Mhm.
They are not going to listen on
Mhm.
their own.
Mhm.
The only way I think they listen is if we build our own,
Mhm. Mhm.
and then they will copy what we have built,
What we build.
because they want our people.
Mm.
Africa and Black people are going to be the most populous people in the world
Mhm.
by 2030.
Mhm.
They want our business.
Mhm.
They want our data.
Mhm.
They want us.
Mhm.
So if we stop using their things and use ours,
Mhm.
then they will be forced to copy it and build into their piece.
Mhm.
Right?
Yeah.
Right now, or 3-4 years ago, when we talked to these companies and asked them to build language models and improve translation, they said, oh, there's no data on African languages. It's true. And it's very expensive. So you know what? They refuse to build anything.
Mhm.
But now, 3 years later,
Mhm.
we have now we've had community partners like Masakane,
Mhm.
so many of them, building data on African languages, so that they've now gone from a place of low resource to high resource.
Mhm. Mhm.
Only we will do this. They will never do it
True.
for us.
Mhm.
So because we have done this, now Google is using the data from some of our community partners to improve Google.
Mhm.
So that's the difference. We must do something first before they will.
Before they jump. And I will agree with you that, because there was a few years back, there was a very big problem with Google translation
Mhm.
to African languages. First, the translation was only working for a few languages: Swahili, some South African languages, some Nigerian languages. That was all.
Mhm.
And then the translation was not that good. So for example, if you're translating something from English to Swahili, or from Swahili to English, there was bias on the translation on Google Translate. Anytime you say doctor, it will be a he. Anytime you say nurse, it will be a she.
Yes.
And you're moving from a language. Swahili is not gendered. If I say a teacher was here in Swahili, there's no way for you to know what gender the teacher who was here is,
Yeah.
unless you translate it to English, or you specifically say the teacher was a woman, the teacher was a man. Yeah. So I agree with you on that. Once you build your own stuff, then you better the whole global narrative.
Yes, exactly. Like, this is literally going to be Africa's gift to the world, and let's give it. We will be giving the data that we curate, but more importantly, the use cases we choose to build. So far, the largest companies in AI are from America and China, and none of them is doing, in my view, anything that is for good. They're only building things for profit. There are some smaller companies doing things for good, but the biggest ones are doing it for profit.
I remember when OpenAI launched as a non-profit initiative, and now it's this for-profit company.
Yes. So this is what they are doing. When we do it differently and make our biggest companies in Africa be AI for good companies, that, I repeat what I said before, they are providing answers to farmers, so farmers can make more money and make more food. They are providing answers to your old grandmother in the village who has problems with healthcare. By the way, most people listening are saying, oh, we are not ready for AI. We are very ready for AI. AI does not need internet access. You can deploy AI through text message. Everybody has text message. You just have to build the AI in an African context, not in an American way. Right. So when they see that our biggest companies are doing things with a social impact lens, they will copy that too. So Africa's gift to the world is that we are going to humanize AI and use it to improve the life of people, not replace their jobs.
And this will take a lot of resources. This is not something you can do like in a year or 2 years. So what are some of the activities you're running in Kenya to what would I use the word to
catalyze this movement? Yes. We started as a low budget organization, and so we had to be very, very strategic. We literally went to the whiteboard and we said, with no money, with no waiting, with no permission, what can we do that would change things? Right. So the first thing was to put Africa on a map. And so we literally drew a map. We drew a map we did a research to find the first 100 African AI companies and put it on that map. This was released in around 2019, 2020. That map changed so much. Because of that map, many American foundations started to come to Africa. Rockefeller Foundation, UNICEF, the UN. They started to bring investment to invest in those founders and those startups because of the map that we created. So that was number one. Number two, we decided, okay, there are many very smart Africans, but we're all divided. We're all separated. We're working for the biggest companies, and we're very, but we don't know each other. So we sent out a call and selected 50 Africans and put them in one WhatsApp channel. No money. We just put them together, the powerful Africans in artificial intelligence. And we then said, okay, you'll be responsible for advising your government on AI. Now we will go and tell your government about it. So we did that. And so now we've been part of at least 3 government activities on policy. So nice. Africa Union, Smart Africa Initiative, we have worked with them on the African AI Blueprint in 2021, where we made sure we were the voice of Africans in the room. You can imagine they were creating policy and strategy for Africa, but it wasn't Africans in the room. So we were the main African group in the room.
As I was driving here, I was listening to a podcast that was talking about EU policy on AI and making AI that's good, that will not destroy the world and all that. And it's always American EU,
yes.
Nothing on Africa.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, we were the ones in the room, and they were making sure that, to the best of our knowledge, the strategy would work. Right? The rest of the world, their strategy, they have money. Okay, America has invested close to, if not more than $1 billion on AI. Same with China, Japan. They build supercomputers that each cost $150 million. This is their strategy. As Africans, we need a different strategy because we don't have that much money. And the strategy, we have created it. We try to teach some of these governments how to do it without spending that much money. There are other ways to build AI. You don't have to build a large language model that costs tens of millions of dollars. You can build a predictive AI that is going to transform the lives of 100 million Africans. It's not that expensive.
And what are the responses you're getting?
Yes.
Plus, what are the smallest of activities? Because I met some students who are part of.
Yes, definitely. On the government side, they have drafted their policy. Now, the challenge is they have refused to stop drafting policies. Every year, they're drafting new policies. We came to them and said, they do policy and you do strategy. The difference is policy is to defend yourself from harm. Strategy is, okay, how do we improve ourselves?
How do you move forward?
They have refused to go to strategy. I don't know which government is implementing AI right now. They just keep discussing about harm, and please, let's move forward. Okay, please. Some government somewhere, Kenyan government, please. Rwandan government, please. Nigerian government, let's move forward. There are very simple investments they can make that would transform things. They're just wasting time, in my view. And so because I don't know how to waste time, we have now shifted to education, where we are now empowering the youth to know what artificial intelligence is, so that they can, we say 3 things. 1, they have to learn about AI. 2, they have to use AI. And 3, they have to build AI. These are the 3 levels. So we created a program called Future Makers, because the youth are the future. Future Makers program, where we work with the youth in schools, sometimes in churches. We empower them to create clubs of 4 people, and it goes to 20, 30 people each club. We teach them how to teach themselves, and we'll give them a curriculum of, okay, here's how you learn about AI. 3 things. Here's how you learn about AI. Here's how you learn about business skills, so you can use this AI to do business. And finally, here's how you must learn about African values, because we don't want you building AI the way it's built. We have to be built on African values, because that's the only way Africans will accept it. I should add one thing there. majority of Africans are scared of AI today, right? Like I said before,
there was
because of the lack of African values.
Yes, there was a conversation, you remember, at Mozilla Fest.
Mozilla Fest, yes.
Where people were like, I don't want to relate to the AI, it's going to take my job and all that.
Yes. We, just last week, we worked with Mozilla Foundation. If you're familiar, Mozilla Firefox, they had a festival in Nairobi, incredible, beautiful festival. Like I said, Nairobi is beautiful. And we had a session there. It was a workshop where over 40 people came. And as we expected, majority are worried and scared of AI. But when we give them the opportunity to think differently about AI, they participated. And on a white paper, we wrote down, what are the values of AI today we don't want? What are African values? And how do we build AI solutions that are based on African values? After that, the whole room, in fact, the whole session, people were always clapping, applause, because people were so excited about what African AI is possible, you know. And so afterwards, they were not scared of AI anymore. They were now saying, let's build
something
our African AI. So there's a video about that. Maybe you can share with the group later.
I can link it on the description box for the video and on the description for the podcast, wherever you're listening.
Yes.
So what are some of the challenges with, yes, government are still not very ready with policy. Yes, money is a challenge, so you have to work around that. And yes, Africa is big. Whatever works for Nigeria, whatever works for Sudan, you can't like replicate it directly. So what are some of the challenges with this alliance?
So we looked at it as milestones. On a 10-year, we put a 10-year plan to make sure Africa is a voice in global AI, right? 10-year. And so the first things were, okay, work on policy. After you finish that, work on innovation, identify some companies, the 100 companies I talked about, and figure out ways to support them, right? The most successful one is InstaDeep, right? It's a Tunisian company. You won't believe it. After, like, we supported them from around 2017, 2018. So much happened, but long story short, they were, as an African company, were able to contribute to the world's solution for COVID-19.
Wow.
Right, like they worked with a company called BioNTech in the UK to create either the vaccines or the tests, right? InstaDeep was a big part of that solution. And after COVID was done, guess what? BioNTech decided to acquire InstaDeep this year for over $600 million.
Wow.
Is one of the biggest acquisitions of AI in the world. It came from Africa. Right. So that was startups.
Next, and this is a startup you directly were involved in?
Yes, directly involved in as Alliance for AI, helping them find talent across Africa, helping them connect with Nvidia. They were one of the first African companies to buy an Nvidia supercomputer. Now, if you are building an AI solution, you need an Nvidia supercomputer. So we work with them to buy the first one. And with that, they built world-class solutions. Now, other African startups don't have access to this, so it's hard for them to compete globally. I'll come back to that in a moment. But yeah, so we did these milestones. The other milestone was get data available. So for the past 3 years, we've been, ecosystem partners have been working. Now the data is available. Education was important. So we've been educating people so they can work on that data, right? So now we've gotten to a point where we have ecosystem partners who have thousands of people trained. Data Science Nigeria has trained up to 100,000 people. Zindi from South Africa has 70,000 data scientists. So when you say Africans don't do AI, you're just not aware. Africans do AI. So now we have those things. The next phase is now they need a fast computer to work on. They need supercomputers, they need computes. That's where we are today. Without this, what happens is our smart people leave the
country to go work somewhere else.
They go to the UK, they go to the US because that's where the computers are. There's no computers in Africa. Nvidia doesn't have an Africa focus, so they don't sell to Africa. Right. Some of our talents who love Africa because they know African values, they try to buy. And do you know what our governments do? Our government tax the computers.
Taxation is a big issue.
Expensive tax. The government, you are supposed to buy these computers for them, or if they bought it for themselves, you're supposed to make it
Zero
free
rate.
tax.
Yeah.
But instead, government tax, I don't even know, up to 20% of the item.
Yes.
The governments are destroying the continent.
You haven't counted the transport for the item. You haven't counted maintenance and all that.
Yes.
Internet charges and all that. Yeah.
The government is just not aware. They're not aware. UNGA was last week, and most of our presidents went there to speak about digital transformation, but they're not aware of this. I mean, we've been trying to talk to them for 4 years. They're somehow not. It's not entering.
It's not.
So they are saying something else. It's a very simple thing. Call whoever is responsible. Take off the taxes, because this is the only thing your people need to be innovative and solve their own problems. All the other things you're doing, I don't know why they're important. You know. So, given that I don't like to wait for government, now we are identifying ecosystem partners. We're identifying development fund providers who are also seeing that is the ripe environment. We now have the data. We now have the talent. Now they just need this compute. So we're going to, just like in the past, internet cafe. You know, when you didn't have internet in your house, you went to a cyber cafe to go and browse the internet. It's the same thing. We're going to build AI cafes where there will be a place where people can go and log in and build AI models. That way, we'll now start having Africans building African AI. So we're hoping within the next 12 months, we can build something like that. Something in Kenya, something in South Africa, and something somewhere in West Africa. Yes.
Right now, somebody is listening to this and really wants to jump on it, because either they're in university, whether they're past university and they've learned some software skills or whatever, or whether they haven't learned that. How can they jump on something?
Go to follow us on any social media, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn. We post about this all the time. Our students post about this all the time. So if you type Alliance, the number 4, AI.org, that's the website.
Okay.
But on any social media, it's Alliance for AI.
And people can just form their small groups wherever they are. And
yes. So the one I shared with you is just simple for someone who just wants to follow and just see what's happening. Just follow on social media, or if you want to do more, you go to the website. There's so many links you can read by yourself, right? We have links to inspire you. We have links to educate you. We have links to connect you to different programs. So that's level 2. Level 3 is if you want to get involved. If you are a builder, you're a person that wants to get involved. Then you can. There's a link on the website to apply to join the Future Makers program. You want to be one of the people who makes the future. That way, you are able to join one of the clubs that exists, or if there's none where you are based, you can create one yourself. We will work with you to create one. The challenge with that is there's a limit to how many clubs we can take at each point in time. But this is where development partners come in. The more donations we're able to receive, the more people we can support there. So we're calling on those who are listening to this as well. Work with us. Let's create more of these clubs. And we're creating them not only in Africa, but the entire world where they are the global African. So that way, you can imagine, we're connecting all the clubs. It's like a global network of Africans who are working on AI for good solutions.
I've seen community really change where places cannot, where, for example, you have challenges with resources, you have challenges with money and all that. I've seen community work really change the narrative behind that and build stuff that works. Because I've been involved with different communities in Kisumu, in Nairobi, and even people who studied, say, computer science in uni, and aren't like university, the curriculum is not very detailed because you're not taught into detail what's currently happening. You're just given a syllabus that's not relatable and all that. I've seen how community has made people leaving uni or not joining uni learn stuff and work and get paid very well just from a community. So I really believe in the idea of community and all those clubs. And I hope it works out.
Amen. Amen. It's already working out. It's already working out. We have a Hall of Fame now of people who, and that's the exact point. We realize it is very difficult for Ministry of Education to change the curriculum. So we empathize with the Ministry of Education. To change the curriculum, they have to do so many things. They have to buy new textbooks. They have to train new teachers. There's so much they need to do. But guess what? They're still figuring out how to pay the teachers. So they're never going to get there. They're never going to get there. That's why we said, what's our mantra? We don't wait. We're going to create clubs that the school can teach you how to be, how to have discipline and have resilience, but it will not give you the information you need to get a job. So communities like our community of practice, right, a Future Maker program will give you the information you need for your job. So now we have curriculum on AI. We're going to add cybersecurity very soon and other curriculum. We have curriculum on business skills. So you can actually know how to speak. I'm not a good speaker, so maybe you'll be a better speaker when you take the business skills on speaking and you write better emails, because without that, you're not going to get a job. You only get a job and you get promoted when you have business skills. So we teach that. And then finally, like I said, African values. We teach about African history. So you know why we're here. You can only go forward because, after you know why you are here, then you can go forward. And so people who are part of our program, we have people who have formed startups that are funded. We have people who have gotten into PhDs and gotten scholarships. We have people who are working in some of the big African companies, some in the Europe, Goldman Sachs, Microsoft. They've gotten into those places. And we have others who decided that, they will just be, at least they're now well aware of AI. So when they go back to their workplace, they use AI to be faster by like 30%.
So to conclude our discussion, there was something we were talking about at Mozilla Fest, and I would like to rope us into that. What do you see from your vision with Alliance for African Intelligence, but also from the world perspective on what AI is going to be in future? Like, what is a realistic view of what AI will be?
Wow.
Yes.
If people don't act, AI, the way it's developing today, is developing in a way that will, some people who speak hyperbolically will say it will destroy the world. Yes. People who are building AI today are not thinking about what they are doing with AI. They're just thinking of how much money they can make. And it's very wrong. So don't think you can just sit down and say you hate AI. You have no choice. AI has come. And if you let them build, it will do everything you're scared of. So we must step up and do something and fight the opposite, right? If you have a gun, you can either use your gun to enter a room and shoot people, or you can use your gun to stand outside the door and protect. So we Africans must build our own AI so we can protect ourselves, not being policy rooms and talking policy. Policy does nothing. Policy cannot do anything against AI. It's important, it's ridiculous. Policy, you can't defend AI with policy. You defend AI with AI. Yes.
Yeah, I think that's a good discussion. If you have anything else that you want to say, we can finish the episode there.
No, this is good. It's been a really great time. I really thank you for featuring me and allowing me to talk about the rest of my team. Alliance for AI now is a force. It's a force of people from different countries, different backgrounds, supported by some of our traditional leaders, including Queen Diambi from Congo. Some of you will know Marcus Garvey, who was one of the first black men to fight for the liberation of black people. His son, Dr. Julius Garvey, is a big supporter of what we do because they realize that this is really how we, start improving the quality of life for black people around the world.
And I think we can't capture everything in one episode. So if you ever are around and you want to continue the conversation, or if there's something you want to let people know, I'm happy to jump on a video call.
Thank you so very much.
Thank you very much.
Yes. All right.
I'm grateful.